Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Long time no see. I know it's been a really long time since I've chatted with you all, shared what I'm reading, what I've read, what I'm going to read. So here I am to share with you all what all books I read in 2025. My goal was to read 35 books and I was able to read it, in fact, go overboard, and I'm really happy about it. But to keep the numbers aside, I think I read some really quality books. There were so many books that I rated 4, 5, 4.5, 4.7. So I think I really enjoyed the books I picked in 2025. So without wasting any further time, let's just dive into what all books I read in 2025. So I started my year with a few romance books. I think the first three books that I read as soon as 2025 started was romance. So the first book that I read was Terms and Conditions by Lauren Escher. It's the story of Declan and Iris. This is a marriage of convenience, workplace romance, and it's just so adorable, spicy, and amazing in all terms. So this book is also part of the series. The name of the series is Dreamland Billionaires, and this is the second book in line. There is third book as well, which I'm yet to read. I'm hoping to finish that book this year, so probably I'll be completing Dreamland Billionaires series that way. Then I read 7 Years Slip by Ashley Poston. This book has time traveling in it, and honestly, I'm not a person who usually enjoys, these kind of things. But the way the author has literally added time traveling, romance, grief, loss, attachment, all of these themes into one book with her such wonderful writing. I had a great time reading it. So if you also love such themes, then I think this book is definitely for you. Third book was Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is not one of my, I think this is my most favorite book by Emily Henry. If you would ask me to rank all the books by Emily Henry, Funny Story would be on number one so far. So this is a story of Daphne and Miles. Daphne is engaged to a guy named Peter, and Miles is a girlfriend named Petra. But it turns out that Peter and Petra both are childhood best friends, but later on they realize that they still have feelings for each other, and that's why Peter dumps Daphne and Petra breaks up with Miles. And that's where the entire story takes place. This is a very nice, close proximity roommates to lovers trope. The character growth and the story growth of the book is also really amazing. I think that is the reason why I also love this book so much. Next in line is Good Material by Dolly Alderton. I think after reading Good Material by her, I have become a huge fan of her writing, huge fan of her storytelling, narration, and everything. If you're someone who is going through a heartbreak, or if you are someone who just had a breakup, then you should definitely read this book, because this book talks about modern relationship breakups in a very brutal and honest way. This book is funny, this book is emotional, this book is everything that contemporary world relationship looks like. Then comes the most gut-wrenching book of 2025, Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bastarrica. This was a book that I absolutely loved, but also I felt very disgusted while reading this. This book is very uncomfortable. Let me give you a disclaimer. So, the story of this book is that in a dystopian world, people have stopped consuming animal meat and now they have started consuming human meat, because for some reason the animal meat has become contaminated and they can't consume them anymore. And that is why they have taken out this alternative of consuming human meat. And the book is very triggering. The book questions humanity. The book also questions the fact that if everyone is eating human meat, would you too? Do check it out. Then I read A First Time Caller by BK Bodison. This is such a cute and adorable romance. This is a single mom workplace romance. The workplace is a radio station, by the way, and it's so cute. And the Cupid in the story is the daughter of the FMC. So this is a story of Aiden and Lucy, and they meet via this radio show that happens every night. And later on, she is called as a guest on the show, and that's how they basically start bonding with each other, and that is how the romance actually builds. This book is also part of the series. It's called The Heartstrings. The second book in the series is releasing next month, and I'm really excited for that. Then comes my least favorite book by Emily Henry, which is this The Great Big Beautiful Life. This book was released in 2025, and honestly, I was really excited to read this book. I was really looking forward for it. But when I read this book, I was very disappointed. Trust me, I was about to DNF this book, but I was just reading it for the sake that what if I like it at the end? What if the climax is amazing? But to be very honest, this book did not hit me that hard as her other books have had. The romance in the book was very abrupt. The chemistry was literally bland. I did not like how they were bonding with each other. In fact, the story actually felt more of Margaret's than the main characters. And I think for those reasons, I couldn't relate or couldn't bond with this book much. Hence, this book is like my least favorite. Then comes Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now, if you are not a sci fi reader, you would still love this book a lot because I am not that big of a sci fi reader, but I loved this book. I devoured this book like literally in 3 days. This was so good. The science in this book is a little bit heavy for sure, but the way the author has explained and narrated the entire story, you wouldn't feel like you are missing the plot or you are, something is getting out of your hand, you're not able to understand it. You will understand what the story is all about. It's just an amazing book. In fact, if you want to start a sci-fi, I would suggest start with this book. I know this book is heavy on pages but absolutely fast paced. So my most favorite read of 2025 was Babel by Arif Kwong. What an amazing book. What an amazing writing. I am a fan of Arif Kwong. Trust me, this book is set in 1830s in Oxford. This book is about a boy named Robin who is a Chinese orphan, and the entire story revolves around him and how he is specialized in a particular language, what is the purpose of getting him specialized into it, and getting him admitted into one of the most prestigious institution of Oxford. I think this is the only dark academia book that I have read so far, and I think I'm definitely going to explore more, but this is just a masterpiece. Totally a fan of this book. Then comes Yellow Face by Arif Kong. It's the same author who wrote Babel. So this is also a really interesting story. This is a little different from Babel. The story is more on satire and dark humor side. So this is a story of Athena and June. These are two writers, and in an unfortunate accident, Athena, the Asian friend of June, passes away. When Athena dies in this accident, June steals her manuscript, steals her work, and publishes as her own. And she also gets famous later on. And that is where the entire story takes place, and what happens next is entirely different, and that will blow your mind. I am currently aiming to read Catabasis in the first half of the year, and I've heard so many good things about that book, so can't wait to read that. Next book is I Who Have Never Known Men. This book was emotionally very heavy, and I think I was very devastated after finishing this book. My brain was literally shut for a few minutes after completing it because this book is just very heartbreaking. It's about isolation, it's about womanhood, it's about companionship, and it's about loneliness. Then comes Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book also I really enjoyed. This is a story of Nora and Charlie. I really love the fact that they did not sabotage their career just for the sake of romance. They had like different family dynamics going on, the way they were handling those, the way they were handling their careers as well. It was amazing. I loved how Charlie was emotionally available for her. I think I would love to see more of these kind of writings from her because she's a master when it comes to writing a romance like these. Then comes one of my most favorite book when I'm talking about a thriller or mystery, the only one left you will always hear me sing or talking about this book. In fact, if I would see you reading this book in public, I would definitely come meet you, talk about this book, and then go. The Only One Left by Riley Sager is an amazing book. If you love books that have like not one, not two, not three, but multiple plot twists, pick this book up. Like, pick this book up. You will love this book. Trust me, Riley Sager is definitely a master of suspense, and this gothic thriller will literally put you on edge when you will read it. Then I also finished this series. I finished the entire Empyrean series. I mean, I know there are more books to come, but yeah, the first three books I have finished, and I enjoyed reading all of these, but my most favorite, if you would ask me, it's going to be Fourth Wing, which is the first book. This book has everything. I think how Violet and Xaden got to know each other, how Violet bonded with her dragons, all of those things made this book beautiful for me. The second book was fine, but the plot twist this book has at the end of it is completely mind blowing. Third book was very okayish. I think it was just written for the sake of the plot, just to make the story, going. Or probably this was just written for the fourth book to build the plot for the fourth book. But otherwise, the entire series is amazing. It's very good. And if you would ask me if you should read this book or not, I would 100% recommend you to read it because it's amazing. This is a fantasy book. It has dragons, it has more than dragons. In fact, it has some really amazing plot twists. This has fights. It does give you a little bit of Game of Thrones vibe, but it's completely different from it and very enjoyable. Then comes my another favorite book, which is Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. This is a story about four sisters, out of which one sister dies because of a disease. And that's where the story begins in the book. How three of them are dealing with grief in a very intimate and individual way, and how they are struggling with it, what they are doing to get out of that grief, how they are holding on to each other, what all conflicts they're having because of it, how it's affecting them. It's really personal, it's really intimate, but it's also a beautiful book to explore, to understand that sisterhood bond. This book is everything. I think I especially related to this book a lot because of the elder daughter POV, and this book will always stay close to me just for that reason. I really like books that talks about feminism, motherhood, sisterhood, and this book had covered it all. I definitely adore Coco Mellor for her writing and also bringing some really untouched topics that everyone should talk about. Absolute favorite for sure. Then comes X's and O's by Amy Leah. So I picked this book very randomly when I was at the bookstore, and when I started reading this book, I fell in love so fast and so hard. This is a fast paced romance. This is a friends to lovers, roommates to lover, and close proximity trope. This book is really adorable. So, in this book, the FMC is a bookstagrammer who reviews books, who talks about books. She is on a mission to hunt down all her exes and to see if she is compatible to any after a really long time that has passed. But at the end, she falls in love with her roommate, and the entire story is really cute. Loved this book a lot. Then comes Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. If you know me, you know that I love Sally Rooney a lot, and this book was absolutely amazing. She is a master in writing books that talk about raw human emotions, and she has done that in this book as well. So, this book is a story of four friends: Alice, Felix, Eileen, and Simon. And the story of all four of them individually is so intimate, it's so fresh and raw. And the way it's all interconnected as well is something I still can't figure out how she does it, how she writes things like that. But it's absolutely amazing. And I think this is a story of people doing their best to connect. My heart got broken while reading this book, and probably so would yours. So get ready for it. Then is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This was an okayish read for me. I did not love this book, but yeah, I enjoyed it. But to be very honest, I don't exactly remember the story of this book. I mean, I don't know why. I finished this book in the first half of the year in 2025. It's a story of January and Gus that I know for sure. Somehow I have forgotten the story of this book. And I think that's why this is an okayish read for me. Yeah, not my favorite, Emily Henry. Then I read More Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. This is a sequel to the Morisaki Bookshop. I loved the second part more than the first one. The first part had something missing, but the second part was very warm. This book is very fast paced. It doesn't have a lot of, complicated things, and it's under 200 pages. So if you want to read anything short, this would be perfect. Then one of the masterpieces that I read was Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. The book is set in 1985 in a small Irish town, and it is about an Irish man who is living with his family and is a coal and timber merchant who goes to deliver these things. And as he goes to a church to deliver all of these, he encounters something which wrenches his heart. This book is tender and astonishing, and it's really short. So if you want to read anything short but powerful, this book would be perfect. Then I have another short book with me, which is A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This was also one of the amazing book that I read in 2025. This book has a conversation between a monk and a robot, and that conversation is around humanity, and the entire conversation is just so warm. It's just also very relatable that I was questioning a lot of things after reading this book. This book is short but yet very thoughtful and touching. Then comes Counterattacks at 30 by Won Byung Son. This is one of the most beautiful book that I read in 2025, as this book talks about a woman who is a working woman who is ordinary and has never been extraordinary in her life, but she becomes a victim of office politics. And this book talks about how she breakthroughs from it, and before that how she is struggling with office politics, what she's doing to keep it going, to keep herself going in a workplace where the work environment is very hostile. So this book was very relatable, especially you know for someone who is working in a corporate, who is a 9 to 5 employee. Then Yar Papa, which is a Hindi book by Divi Prakash Dubey. This is the story of a broken family. The mother and the father, they both are divorced. The father is a lawyer, a very renowned lawyer in this country, but because of some controversy that arises around him, he had to go back to the university to complete his degree again, in which his daughter is also studying. So he deliberately does it to come closer to her daughter, and that's where the entire story takes place. A little bit of past nostalgia. This book is warm, nice, and a really good read, to read in your own language, and very quick as well. It's a very fast paced book. Then I read Out of the Woods by Hannah Borum Young. In this, the FMC and MMC both are married, and after a few years, the FMC realizes that there's something off, that it's not how it used to be. There's something missing, that she is missing out on things probably for herself, but also in the marriage as well. So, to fix that, they both go on a 7 days trek in the woods, and that's where the entire story takes place, and that's why the name of the book is Out of the Woods. At the end it gets very emotional, but it's adorable romance. Then I read Don't Let Her Stay by Nicola Sanders. This is a thriller and mystery book, and this one literally played with my emotions. At the end of this book, the plot twist was really mind-blowing. I was thrown off the fence because of it, because what I was thinking, it was completely different from that. So really good one. Then I read Ghajar Gochar by Vivek Shanbag. This is a translation from Kannada, and you must have heard about this book is short, but this book also plays with your emotions, because at the end, the way the interpretation of the story comes out is very deep and has a very deep satire in it. So if you're somebody who understood it, we are on the same page. If not, what was your interpretation from your story? Then I read Betting on You. I think I listened to the audiobook of this, and it's a very cutesy young adult romance book, and yeah, it was fun reading it. Then I read Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. The story, the message, the takeaway of the book was absolutely 10 on 10. But if you would ask me how smooth was the reading, it was not at all smooth. The writing is very heavy, very tough, and even if the book is small and short in terms of number of pages, but it took me around 4 to 6 hours to finish that book, that tiny book. So yeah, I get it why I'm not a classic reader. Then I also picked up one arc copy in 2025. I read The Paradise Hookup by Christy McCallan. I was very thrilled to read an arc copy, and it was amazing. And this book was very cute, Grumpy Sunshine kind of book, where both of them, they go to a island by mistake for some work related stuff, but somehow fall in love with each other. Then I read Boyfriend by Frida McFadden, and as you know, Frida McFadden is master of thrillers, master of mysteries, suspense, and this book was one of it. The plot twist had me. I was shocked at the end of this book because in this book a murder happens, and as I was reading the book I was trying to identify who could be the murderer, and at the end I think I was very sure that this person is the murderer, but it turns out that was not, in fact, some other, like literally the person you would have not even thought about is the murderer in the book. So the plot twist was amazing. Really loved giving myself anxiety while reading this book. And the last book of 2025 that I read was Click Me Under the Mistletoe. It's a spicy holiday short story. This book was spicy and nothing else. So I just wanted to read something short, and I think, yeah, this one did it for me. So that is it, guys. These are all the books that I read in 2025. Do let me know in the comment section if you also read any of these books. I had a great time reading them, and I hope that in 2026 I read more books, more good books, and I wish you all the same as well. If you like my videos and want to see more such book related contents, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.